All right. Pleasant good evening to us all. Welcome to part two of this evening's class of SteelE Masterclass. And this evening we are continuing with our presentation based on the mind. We're continuing what we were working on and discussing with the mind. Please check the link. I've just posted the link again for the YouTube, where if you want to save the link, that you are able to do so and review the class at a later date. So that link is there, made available for all of us on YouTube. Okay, so let's jump straight into this evening's class as we go forward and to look at the stage of the mind again. And just reflecting back from the last class, we were looking at the mind and mind my mind so I can mind what is mine. And we're just going to jump straight into the other aspect of this evening's class. So we were looking at the mind as a production factory, and it is all about minding. In the center there, you see the brain, it holds the manual, and then we see equally on that side in there, we see the thoughts that are generated by the brain. And then we also see that in minding, we become aware, and awareness puts information into the brain. Then we look at, after awareness, there is emotion. When you become aware of something, you get an emotional response or reaction. And then after being emotionally connected to what is happening, then we get rationalizing. We rationalize what we heard, how it was, what it means, what it could mean. We start to process the information that we receive. And then after that, there are more thoughts that are added to the process. And this is a continued cycle that goes on over and over. Now, what I'm going to do this evening is I'm going to go in depth, and I want you to follow closely and make careful notes and observations as we go to the next level of this process, because it's very critical to understand how this process works. Some of us have dynamics that we never really understood how our mind works. And as a result of not understanding how our mind works, we find ourselves prone to all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of imaginations, all kinds of emotions, all kinds of desires, all kinds of dreams and visions without our control. And sometimes we are even prone to thinking or processing the information that would behave as though we do not have any control over our mind. And I want to be very honest with all of us, we do have control. How do we gain control? We gain control by understanding the processor, by understanding the process. When you understand the process it takes to produce something, you're better equipped to manage the information that goes into the process. For example, if you're going to bake a cake, you know what it looks like when it's finished. You know what a completed cupcake looks like, and you're satisfied. But the ingredients and what gives it that finished look are the important tenets for you being a successful baker. Any person can bake something, but does it taste the way you want it to taste? Did it come out the way you want it to come out? Was it burnt? Was it well cooked? Or was it pre-cooked? It wasn't cooked enough. All of these things are a part of the process. And if you understand the process, then you're better equipped to manage it. Are you with me? So I want you to focus yourself on, I want to learn how to manage my thinking. I want to learn how to manage the information that goes into my processor or my manual. Remember, every day of our lives, we are writing the manual that governs how we think, which governs how we behave, which governs the results and attitudes that we display as a result of the information and how we process it. All right? So I'm taking my time today because I really want us to understand the manual that we are writing. You have written a manual, and in order for you to think different, react different, behave different, there's some pages of the manual you need to tear out, and also there's some new instructions that you will need to give to this process. Are you with me? So let's go through these new instructions and how the mind works so we can get a clearer picture of the process. When you have a thought, how you process it determines what you say or do. When you have a thought, how you process it determines what you say or what you do. Opportunities can be missed or misinterpreted if the thought is not processed correctly. You can destroy a potentially good partnership if you are not able to process correctly your thoughts based on the information that was shared. So let me break this down for us in their simplest form. Minister Ewers is my very good friend. And in the beginning of our relationship, like any other relationship, there is an exchange of information. First came the information that Minister Ewers would have heard of me, and the information that I would have heard of His Excellency. And that information starts a process. Are you with me? It starts a process. I want you to listen very carefully. Now, that process is without me, or it is without Minister Ewers involved in it. Because here's what happens. Minister Ewers hears about this young man, Bishop SteelE, and he starts to form opinions. He starts to have thoughts. Who is the person that is recommending this Minister SteelE? That's a part of the process. Who's this person that is recommending Minister SteelE? Why is he recommending Minister SteelE? Can I trust this person that is recommending Minister SteelE? Can I trust Minister SteelE? All of this starts without any other input whatsoever. It's natural. Then comes Minister Ewers' meeting with Bishop SteelE. When Minister Ewers meets with Bishop SteelE, then Minister Ewers starts another process in the thought processing of the relationship. Who does Minister SteelE sound like? Who does Minister Steele remind me of? Why should I listen and take his advice? Why should I trust him? Is he a reputable person? How can I prove if he's reputable? Are you following with me? All of this happens with every single relationship that you start. If you start a job, if you go to the store, if you meet someone on the bus, if you meet someone while you're driving your car and you just stop for a brief moment, all of this happens without your input. All of these questions come as a result of information that is being processed. Did Reverend Steele smell nice? If he smelled awful, it means he does not take care of himself. It means does he smell pleasant? Does he look like somebody that looks after himself? His eyes are processing information. His nose is processing information. His thinking is processing information. Every single bit of that meeting is inputting data into the potential that this relationship has. And at any given point in time, any of that information that is wrongfully processed, listen to me, wrongfully processed can make or break a potentially good relationship. I hope you've heard what I just shared with you. And I'll tell you why I just shared all of that with you. Because a lot of us, and I've included myself, a lot of us have destroyed great potential relationships because they made us feel bad when we met the person. There was some bad feeling we had, some bad feeling. How many of you have ever met somebody and had a bad feeling that you just couldn't put your hands on it for no reason? That bad feeling that you did not qualify destroyed a potentially good relationship. How many of you met someone and didn't realize that, everybody might not be like you, that wears perfume and cologne and smell nice, and some people might be very comfortable with their male odors, their masculine aroma. And you might think this person smells horrible, and it has absolutely nothing to do with this person's ability to look after themselves. It might just be culturally that the person does not use perfume or deodorant because the person is allergic or for whatever reason. But your nose gives you a bad feeling. Am I making sense what I'm saying? Because this is really critical for us to understand about forming and fostering relationships as ambassadors. It's very important because all of these things we put into consideration when we are determining if we are going to build a relationship or not. He was wearing a shirt, but the button on the shirt was missing. He doesn't know how to take care of himself. He's talking to me about business and being successful, but his clothes doesn't look successful. Maybe he's someone or she's someone that's not interested in clothes. Is it good? Is it bad? I can't say if it's good or bad, but you can't judge someone based on how they're dressing. You can't judge someone based on the car they're driving. You can't judge someone based on if they're walking to the meeting or if they're driving. Sometimes you might have someone show up in suit and tie and with the best car, but you might not realize that it was an Uber, and you might not realize that it's the only suit they have. Am I talking to us? Come on. Am I talking to us? And I want us to understand some of these dynamics of choices, Opportunities can be missed or misinterpreted if the thought is not processed correctly. Say that to yourself and think about some of the opportunities that you've missed. Think about some of the individuals that you have judged extremely wrongfully. I'll give you an example. I was a part of a leadership exercise, and I had the privilege of going to Minehead, and it was very interesting. I was the only Black person at this event. I'm going to say it directly. I was the only Black person or person of color at the event of a few hundred people. I was the only Black person. As a matter of fact, I actually had to look through photos after and realized, oh my God, I was the only Black person. How many of you have ever been to a circle and you're so not interested in color, you don't even see your own color, that you might not have realized you were the only person of color there, because it doesn't matter. They didn't treat you any different, and you didn't feel any different about yourself or your reason for being there or your contribution. But I want to share this experience with you for a very good reason. While I was going from my dorm to the training room, I met this gentleman. My goodness, he had so much beard and a lot of hair and tattoos and earrings and nose rings. I am going to confess, at that time I was about, I think I would have been about 21, 22 years old at that time. And I was among leaders. I was a steward at a major event at Minehead. And Minehead is where they have a spring fest or summer fest at Minehead in the United Kingdom. And while I was there, every time I passed my dorm, this gentleman with these big leather boots, with all of these buckles and this big baggy pants, he used to scare the living daylights out of me just seeing him. I confess. And I would walk past him frightened. Honestly, I was frightened. When the event was going on, I was a steward and I wasn't able to go to the altar because I was a steward and I was responsible for helping people at the altar, helping people to, go through the process. And there was an altar call that was made, and my heart was so stirred. I really wanted to go to the altar, and tears were running down my eyes because I was really personally touched myself. And my supervisor said to me, Michael, I wasn't reverend or anything yet. I was still Michael. Hey, Michael, would you like to go to the altar? It's okay. I'll relieve you. And a tear ran down my eye, and I went to the altar and I knelt down at the altar. And when I was kneeling at the altar, this presence came at the altar, and this person hugged me at the altar. And all I could remember him saying, I could remember the person saying, hey, little buddy. This is how the person approached me. Hey, little buddy, whatever you're going through, don't worry about it. God is able, and God is going to see you through it. When the person said this to me, how many of you know sometimes you're going through something and somebody just meets you and they tell you exactly what you need to hear? More tears started to flow from my eyes. And the man just embraced me. The person just embraced me and says, I got you, little buddy. I'm right here with you. Don't worry, you're not alone. And when I turned around, it was this person that I feared more than anybody else, which was at the event. His name was Howie. And when I got up, he hugged me, a ministerial brotherly hug. Howie was actually a minister. And he hugged me. This guy with all these tattoos and this nose piercing and these earrings. And he told me, when you pass, come and see me later when you pass, because I always see when you pass and I keep praying for you because I admire you as a young man. Come and see me. Come on now. I'm telling you this story for a reason, please. And I passed back and I went and I met with Howie. And Howie told me his story. He told me he was a member of Hell's Angels, bikers. And he got touched by the Lord and saved. And he told me, he said, God, I want to go to my people that will recognize me. I don't want to change from being like this. I want to go to them. And he never changed his tattoos, his earrings, his nose piercings, how he dressed. He even rode a bike. That was one of the deciding moments that have changed my life. Some of us have too many dynamics that govern who we communicate with, who we work with. And a lot of times the package that we're looking for things is not the package it's wrapped in. And a lot of you have missed great business opportunities. You've missed great relationships, great connections, because you simply have the wrong blueprint and the wrong information input in your database that governs who you should speak to, who you should embrace, who you should give an opportunity to, or what the person that you want to communicate with should look like. Today, I want you to unlearn a lot of things you think you know. Unlearn them. God does not show up the way we think he ever will. Never. Stop looking at our religion. Stop looking at our culture. Stop looking at our family and our tribe. Start looking inside at our humanity. Some of you have prejudices that are hindering you from being progressive. A lot of you. You ask me, how are you so successful, Your Excellency? Why do doors open for you? The reason is because I am neutral. A lot of you have too much prejudice to be successful. You're not neutral. You're either Christian, or you're Muslim, or you're Buddhist, or you are this blood type, or you are Pan-Africanist, or you are only for white people, or only for black people, or you don't like Asians, or you don't like Chinese. You're not neutral. And if you want to become globally relevant, you have to drop all of your prejudices and learn how to be neutral. Give every single human being on the face of the earth an opportunity to impact you, impact your world, or you impact them and impact their world. Have I made sense what I just shared with you in that little scenario? If I've made some sense, please. The reason why I'm asking you that question, if I've made sense, is because I promise you that experience with Howie has never, ever, ever, ever left me. And I could promise you I have never felt so much love from a human being than I did at that time when I met with that Hell's Angel. That prior to knowing who he was and why he was dressed the way he dresses and looks the way he looks, I was scared out of my wits of this person. Let me move on. Are you fueling? How are you fueling your mind? What are you thinking? Processing right before bed gives the last thing you do before sleep more value and a greater ability to be retained. I'll say that again. Processing right before bed gives the last thing you do before sleep more value and a greater ability to be retained. Your mind. What do you do before you go to bed? Some of you go to bed with the radio on because you can't sleep in the silence between your ears. And you listen to the radio with news and all sorts of what you have absolutely no control over. And I want to tell you a little secret. If you didn't know it before, you have all sorts of crazy dreams and visions and ideas. Let me tell you why. Because while you're sleeping, your ears never sleep. Wait back if you heard what I just said. I said your ears never sleep. Your ears are there to protect you. So they never sleep. So while you are sleeping, information is being poured into you. Let me give you a secret of the gurus, if I may. If you want to know the Bible and you want to know a particular book or you want to have a particular subject matter, before you go to bed, play it. And go to sleep with it playing. You will have information inside of you that you do not remember reading or studying. But I promise you, it will get inside of you. Most of you who've been to university would know that when you're studying, the best times to study is late in the night. So that when you go to sleep, your brain is ticking over with the last bit of information that you gave it. I do not sleep very much because I study when you're sleeping. When men sleep, others are studying and working like me. How do I manage to retain so much? I read so much. And I do not watch TV. My wife will tell you I don't watch TV. I do not listen to the news very often. I do not read newspapers or gossip papers. I do not allow certain things into my ear play or my eye play. I don't. I don't entertain some people at all. I don't have time for individuals who do not intellectually stimulate me. If you don't productively stimulate my intellect, you'll find I will not be communicating with you. If you're always complaining and murmuring and having problems, you'll find I don't speak with you very much. Because I don't want to have your information input into my database, and then when I'm trying to sleep, I am sleeping and I'm hearing, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, I don't. And then I'm trying to process my own needs to be positive, but I am hearing information that I allowed to go into my airways that is influencing now my own personal thoughts. Pick sense from what I'm saying and choose carefully who you listen to. Because if you do that, you will start recognizing that you become more powerful than you thought you were. Why? Because you behave as though you think you could do anything. How many of you ever heard somebody look at you and say, oh, you think you could do anything? Who do you think you are? You think that everything works for you. You think that God is your God and he's nobody else's God. How many of you have ever heard those conversations before? I've heard them 10,000 times. I need to hear them 10,000 times. Why? Because God is my God. Because he answers me. Because he hears my call. Why? Because I command the respect of the universe that I walk into. I command the respect, I command what I need. That's why it has no choice. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. Why? Because I have the answer. I have the solution. How do I know that? Ask me, and I will tell you. You see, if you are not confident in who you are, how do you expect to convince someone to trust you? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Please. Your ears, what you are listening to, music. My wife will tell you some things about me. There are some love songs I don't like dancing to. My wife loves dancing. Me and my wife, we dance together, romancing, all these lovely songs. I don't dance to Christian music. I dance to love music with my wife, love songs. Oh, girl, I love you. You know, I'm not going to go into those songs because I don't want to put them in your ears. But me and my wife, we dance to love music. Why? Because I am having relation with my wife, love tunes. I want my wife to feel loved and appreciated, and I want to hold her and dance with her and enjoy those moments. But there's some tunes I do not sing. As lovely as they're sung, I don't sing them. There's some words I don't allow in my airways. A lot of you listen to just gospel music. Can I tell you the honest truth? You're doing yourself a discourtesy. I'll say it again. Some of you only listen to gospel music, and I will say it to you. You're doing yourself a discourtesy. Why? Because there's a lot of beautiful, inspirational music that you can listen to that can boost your personal morale. A lot of you attribute everything to Jesus Christ. That's why you cannot communicate in any other manner. Everything has to be about Jesus Christ. Everything you do, everything you say. You can't operate in a normal environment. You cannot. And some of you need to grasp this. I'm a bishop, but I'm telling you what you need to hear. If you don't entertain any other type of culture or music, you don't entertain anything else, how can you think you're going to be globally relevant? You will never be globally relevant. Listen to me, you're meant to telling it to you. Why? Because before you become globally relevant, you have to be tested with the cultures you're going to impact. And if you don't know how to embrace those cultures, I don't like that type of music. Oh, that music is devil music. Oh, then how are you going to impact the people if you don't know the music the people like? You don't understand it. How are you going to do anything to impact a community if you don't want to engage the community and understand and respect their culture? Global relevance means you must have a level of tolerance for persons, cultures, music, and things. Are you with me? All right, I'm going to go on. I want to talk to you about tones. I want to talk to you about tones. Some of you are in very hostile environments. Very hostile environments. Some cultures are hostile. They communicate lovingly, but hostile. And when you go into another environment, that hostility, as harmless as it is, it already creates an opinion about you. I'm going to say that again. As harmless as your culture might be, your accent and your tone of voice creates a dynamic that will disqualify you a lot of times. My wife has been saying to me, because she listens over to my messages, and my wife keeps reminding me, darling, please, you need to calm down, and you need to remember that everybody does not understand your dialect when you get excited. How many of you know when I get excited and I start to talk like this as a major, when I don't understand a word that I said? Not a word, because I just get so excited that when I just want to wait, was that he just said? That was my Bajan dialect. I bet that went over quite a few of your heads. Why? Because you must always be mindful of your tone and what you're saying, and mindful of the audience that's listening to you. Always. His Excellency Minister Ewes is a Jamaican. And Jamaicans are very aggressive by nature. When they are having fun, they are aggressive. When they are joking, they are aggressive. When they are angry, they are more aggressive. When they are talking to their darlings, hey, darling, come. Hey, sweetie, come. They seem aggressive to you. But to be quite honest, those that are culturally sound, they feel no threat because they understand the culture. Nigerians scare the living daylights out of me when I see a group of men all excited and they behave as though they are going to fight and tear each other's necks off. As a matter of fact, you might run in a corner and call the police because you think a war is going to happen. And when you get close, you will realize they're just talking about football. And they're happy with each other. And the person that is on the other team is discussing his team. Man, the goal that they score. Hey, my brother, please don't behave like this. Don't talk. Don't talk. My brother, don't open your mouth. Please don't open your mouth again. You don't know how you don't know how I feel. He's my partner. He's one of my boys now. You better don't say another word. And he said, are you threatening me? Your footballers, your team, they cannot play no football. Behave. Go yourself. And we would think that they are about to kill each other. And we panic. How many of you get what I'm trying to say? So you have to be mindful. If it is your culture to be loud, you have to calm your tone when you go into another culture. If it is your culture to be quiet and you find yourself as an ambassador in that culture, please understand the culture and don't panic. It's okay. When you learn a culture, you know how to feel safe. When you're ignorant, you're not safe. Tone has effect on mood. How many of you ever heard somebody shout at you so hard and your heart starts to beat like you know the next time if that person has to speak to you again, you feel like you will die? How many of you ever experienced that? That someone has the ability to speak to you and it will frighten you? I will tell you who I am as a leader. I have that uncanny ability to scare the living daylights out of persons 5 times my size when I speak to them. They tremble. I have that uncanny ability, I promise you, that if I tell you don't do it again, I promise you, you will tremble. And somebody next to you might tell you, come, please. Did you hear how that man told you don't do it again? Please, I beg, don't do it again. I don't know what that man will do if you do it, but the tone that man used told me, you better not make that mistake again. So tone has an effect. So remember, when you're speaking to individuals, the tone is going to give you an emotional response. Are you responding because of an emotional tone that you just did not appreciate? When the person was just being very, very persuasive? Or are you responding based on the information that you receive and it was unsettling? Tone is very important. Tone dictates whether or not a conversation is good or bad. And then in your processing, you will make a determination about the individual. Let me go on. How are you fueling your mind? Your eyes. What are you watching? Who are you watching? There's some things that I will show you about me, and I'll explain it. For example, I'm going to show you some things, and I'm going to, let me stop the screen share. All right, I'm gonna show you some things, and I want you to follow with me what I'm showing you. For example, you see the raised eyebrow and the finger? You see this? You see how I hold my hand? I'll tell you a few secrets. Even this one, how I'm holding my hand. I'll tell you a few secrets. I spent over 20 years under the mentoring of a bishop, the Reverend Dr. Holmes Williams. He was my mentor. And these are some of the things that I discovered that I do just like Daddy. Because I watch him, and instinctively, without any realization. How many of you get what I'm trying to say? Come on, I want you to wave at me if you get what I'm saying. Please, don't let me feel like I'm a mad person. Without any realization, I recognize that there's some attributes that Daddy have that I have the same. Why? Because he influenced my life. Because I listen to his teaching. I hear when he corrects individuals. And I observe him as one of the greatest speakers that has ever graced any pulpit that I have ever had the privilege of sitting under. Reverend Dr. Holmes Williams in the People's Cathedral in Barbados. You can Google him. One of the greatest speakers I have ever listened to. And I sat under his teaching and his mentoring for over 20 years. As a matter of fact, I will dare to tell you, there was a period of maybe 10 years where I was in the choir. I sang in the choir. I was a member of the choir. So Sunday morning, Sunday evening, I was in church. Then Monday was drama group at the church. Tuesday was prayer meeting in one of our prayer groups. Wednesday was Bible study in the church. Thursday was miracle service in the afternoon at 12 every Thursday. And Thursday evening at 7 was choir practice. Friday was prayer meeting every Friday. Saturday was youth fellowship. We had Youth for Life, and we had youth fellowship on Saturdays. And we also had the men's class meetings. And I did that consistently Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for over 15 years without a break in between. Without a break. I had my own business. I was working. And I was one of those persons who was exceptionally well respected. To this very day, I'm speaking to you. You can call the People's Cathedral and you can ask who was Reverend Dr. Michael SteelE. Because I am still a member in good standing and in full respect of the authority of the People's Cathedral in Barbados. Why did I tell you this? If you are going to develop a character, you must spend the rest of your life working on it. It's not a one-day thing. I had a very good conversation with one of my mentors, and he said to me, because you brushed your teeth once does not mean your teeth are always going to be shiny. You should take that note. Because you brushed your teeth once does not mean your teeth are always going to be shiny. Because you had a shower today does not mean you're going to smell nice for the next week if you don't have a shower every day. A lot of individuals think that character is based on one input. Because you went to the gym once and you saw a little bit of muscle come up, does not mean if you never go to the gym, the muscle is going to stay up. All right, let me go on. Who are you watching? Who is it that is impacting your eyes? Let me ask you another question. What type of movies do you like? Let me ask you. Do you like love stories? Beautiful love stories that Hollywood prepares for you? Oh, Hollywood has a twist to it. Most love stories have a negative twist in Hollywood. Somebody's cheating on somebody, somewhere there's infidelity or something. Somewhere it's not supposed to be, but it just happens. Do you like horrors? Do you like to watch gore? People killing people and violence. You're feeding, you're thinking. Do you like to watch drama? Do you like to watch movies that you don't know how it's going to end? Do you like science fiction that is not real and it makes you exaggerate? Come on, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You're asking for mentoring, and I know a lot of you might not expect this in your mentoring. But what I'm sharing with you is important for you to understand that you are minding yourself. You are feeding your database with information that is causing you to respond, react, and behave without any input of your own. Some of you judge your relationships based on movies that you've watched. Oh, I see people behaving like this in this movie. And you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even realize, just like me doing this, just like I'm using my hands like my minister for so many years. And then after a while, I realize, oh my God, that is just the way Daddy does his hands. And anytime I show up, people know that I am one of Daddy's sons because they see him in me. Because they see that I do the very things that Daddy does, the very way he does it. And even if I try sometimes, I don't know how to be different. I have to pretend to be different if I want to be. So a lot of you like a particular type of movie and don't realize that that movie is dictating how you are making your decisions. A lot of you see movies with relationships and divorce and remarriage and divorces and how people get treated and how people behave. And a lot of you are making decisions that have no basis or foundation other than you are stimulated by what you've watched. And you have no foundation for what you're seeing and saying. None whatsoever. Baseless. There's some ministers that they watch pornography and they find themselves stimulated in the wrong ways, thinking the wrong things because they're busy. They're perverting their minds, perverting their thinking, creating imaginations. Wow. And they don't understand that they are feeding their thought processes. They're coming to church and they're having unusual sexual desires for sisters. Why? It's not for the sisters. You're stimulated by what you are watching. It's not for your brothers. You're stimulated by what you're feeding your eyes and your mind. Oh, Bishop, you're talking some very personal things. How am I going to get through to helping you if I don't tell you the truth? Do you want me to make up stories for you? How can I tell you lies and expect that you're going to change? Can I tell you lies about changing and expect you're going to do something different? You are seated and you want to know, why am I behaving this way? Why am I going through this process? Why can't I get this happen? It's because of your thinking. It's because of what you're feeding your mind and your eyes. What aromas attract you? What aromas attract you? I'll tell you a little secret that a lot of you already know. I'll tell you a little secret. All of you know it. Some of you might not realize it, but you know it. How many of you have smelled someone, their perfume, that the minute you smelled the perfume, they took you straight back to an occasion? How many of you have ever experienced that? The minute you smelled the perfume, it took you back to an occasion. I want to tell you a little secret. there's something unique about me that I will share with you. I'll share it with you. I don't do many things unusual. I bathe with the same soap all my life. My wife will tell you, I have bathed with the same soap since I was 17 years old. I have bathed with the same soap, the same type of soap every day of my life. The same type of soap. When I am traveling, I travel with my own soap. The same type of soap. I do not use hotel soaps. I do not use any foreign soap whatsoever. I don't care how sweet they smell. I don't care. I am not interested. I use the same soap. That's one. I use the same toothpaste all the time. Same toothpaste. I don't change it. I don't compromise it. I'm not even interested in how much mintier, how much sweeter. I'm not interested. The same one. I use the same roll-on. My wife will tell you, the same roll-on all the time. The same one. Why am I telling you this? A lot of you don't have any routines. You just throw anything under your arm. Anything that comes. You go to the store and any soap that you find, you bathe your skin with. It doesn't matter. Anything. You just bathe with anything. You've not tried and tested and allow your body to become accustomed to anything. Now, why did I share that little bit of information with you? Any room that I walk into, I can tell you immediately if anybody went into that room after me. Immediately I can tell you. Because I will smell you. Wow, Bishop, your nose is really sensitive. No, it's not my nose is sensitive. It is that I know the smell around me that never changes. And anything that gets into my environment, I know my environment is different. If anybody been to my house, I know how my house smells. And I know if anybody ever comes into my house, I can tell you somebody has been into my house. In no uncertain terms. I want you to become aware. Practice awareness. Practice smelling. Practice what you feel when you smell a particular thing. Remember the time you got into a quarrel with someone and they had a smell. And that smell gave you a thought of violence, of anger, of hatred. The next time you smell someone that smells that same way, your brain is going to process information with data that you have no proof of. How many of you get what I just said? The data that you are going to be processing the information with is going to be from what happened when you got that smell. Some women who've been in abusive relationships and they have a boyfriend or a husband who uses a particular perfume, the minute that they meet a totally different stranger that smells like that, their heart starts to race. Why? Because your brain processes the aroma. And every time that aroma is present, it makes blows, it makes beating, it makes trauma, it makes fear, it makes hatred, it makes anger, and you hate that aroma. Are you right to hate the aroma? Are you right to hate the aroma? Or are you right to hate the person that wore the aroma? Do you know how to separate the aroma from the person so that you could smell someone with that same aroma, but you could appreciate the beauty that that person has that is totally different from the other person with the same aroma? Do you get what I am trying to convey to you? The aroma never did you anything. It was the person with the aroma. The place. Some persons would have been abused or beaten or maltreated at a particular place. And every time they go to that place, their brains and their mind and their body convulge with fear and anxiety and worry, because the body creates a dynamic of reenacting for them what happened when they were at that location. And they are not able to move from that location comfortably. I'm going to stop there for today because I want you to process everything I've shared with you. A lot of you are judging offices and judging people and judging smells and judging things that have no basis of criteria for qualifying relationships. And you don't realize that's the reason why you're responding the way that you are. And there's no base or foundation for your behavior. And if you don't learn how to separate aroma, smell, person from experience, you will never, ever embrace another person that is maybe the same Christian. If somebody says they are an apostle or they are a bishop or they are a reverend, because the last reverend treated you badly or rubbed you the wrong way or offended you or hurt you or harmed you, immediately you hear reverend, you immediately regurgitate everything that is destructive rather than creating a mindset that I need to allow this experience to guide me in the way that is different than the last experience. I need to go into this experience without a stereotypical mindset. Too many of us have stereotypical mindsets. You need to lose it. Oh, I don't like Christians. Why? There are good Christians and there are bad Christians. Oh, I don't like bishops. Why? They're good bishops and they're bad bishops. Oh, I don't like people that speak slowly and take their words. You can't trust them. Why? The people that speak slowly that you can't trust them, and the people that speak slowly that you can trust them. Oh, I don't like people that try to convince you with the Bible because they're all frauds. Why? But there are people that convince you and they're frauds, and there are people that are genuine and they try to convince you and they're genuine. Oh, I don't like people that are ritualistic. Why? They're ritualistic people that are very good, noble, and moral citizens in society, and they're ritualistic people that are some of the most debauched and horrible people you will ever meet. Oh, I don't like people that are not cultured. I don't like people that don't like to follow protocol. Why? There's some people that are not cultured and they don't follow protocol, and there's some of the most amazing individuals you will ever meet, some of the most wonderful individuals you will ever meet. But equally, there are individuals who do not follow protocols, and there are some of the most, again, debauched and unscrupulous individuals you will ever encounter. What am I trying to say? Don't judge individuals with stereotypical understandings or stereotypical mindsets or stereotypical paradigms. Don't do it. Walk into the situations of life trusting that things in life are beautiful, things in life are genuine, things in life are good, things in life are noble, things in life are honest, things in life are true. Of course, things in life are not genuine. Of course, things in life are unethical. Of course, things in life are fraudulent. But why must I focus on those things? I'll give you a verse of scripture based on the fact that I think it is helpful at this time. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there is any praise or if there is any virtue, think on these things. Isn't that scripture for Muslim or Christian or Buddhist? Isn't it scripture? What are you affirming? My wife and I have a battle sometimes. Every now and then, my wife does not want to be super spiritual or super perfect or super, it's going to be all right. Sometimes my wife just wants to tell it like it is. But this is the way it is, darling. I'm tired trying to believe that it is going to be different, or I'm tired. Do you know that takes energy? Yes, a lot of energy. It takes so much energy to be positive. It takes so much energy to be confident. It takes so much energy to believe that the things that are negative in your life are going to change. It takes so much energy to believe that you've tried it and it failed. You've tried it and it failed. You tried it and it failed. It takes so much energy to believe that the next time you try it is going to work. How many of you get what I just said? Wave at me, please. Wave at me, please, if you get what I just said. It takes a lot of energy. And all of us have moments, including myself, where I just want to walk away and don't talk to anyone. I don't want to have a conversation, because if I have a conversation with you, I am going to affirm some things that are true that I don't want to affirm. I don't want to affirm some of my current circumstances. I don't want to affirm them. I don't want to affirm some of the things that are currently the way they are. I want to affirm something different, but it takes so much energy. It is almost like you are lying to yourself. Sometimes you need to lie to yourself. You're not lying to yourself. You're actually telling yourself the truth you want to realize. I'll say that again if you didn't get it. You're not telling lies to yourself. You're telling yourself the truth that you want to realize and you want to manifest. Oh, you need to stop lying to yourself. How many people have told you, stop lying to yourself? Look at you. Look at yourself. You are hopeless. Look at you. Look at you. You are helpless. Look at you. And then you go in a little corner. Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my, I'm hopeless. Hey, I'm helpless. Hey. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How do you mean you're hopeless? How do you mean you're helpless? How dare you? How dare you speak to creation that has so much power and so much ability and call creation that has so much manifested potential wrapped up inside of it and call it hopeless and helpless? How dare you treat yourself in such a degrading manner? I will slap you myself as your mentor. How dare you? How dare you look at me and tell me, oh, but you have to know the truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? I can't pay my bills. That's not the truth. The truth is your current circumstances mean that you need to increase your productivity. That is the truth. The truth of your current circumstances means that you need to equip yourself to be more proficient and more equipped to be able to manage your circumstances more successfully. That's the truth. Oh, you don't know how I feel. How do you know I don't know how you feel? Am I perfect? Have I had all of my needs met without fear and hurt or harm? Am I a perfect mentor? Please, none of us is perfect, or none of us have reached. All of us are on a journey, including me. And I have to talk to myself every single day. Do you think being a mentor in the class of SteelE is easy? Do you think that having 100-year vision for a class of SteelE is easy to maintain some days? Haven't you asked yourself, but wait a minute, His Excellency have been in the class for a whole year without fail. Doesn't His Excellency get sick? Doesn't His Excellency catch colds? Doesn't His Excellency feel tired? Doesn't His Excellency get overwhelmed? Also, do you want me to tell you the truth? Yes, I get tired. Yes, I get frustrated. Yes, I get overwhelmed. But do I affirm it? Do I entertain it? Do I embrace it and endorse it? No. The time is 8:30 p.m. here in London. Let me go on. I think that I have hammered on that point of affirmation. Some of you need to stop having conversations with some people that make you say things you don't want to. Stop calling them. Do you know him? Do you know her? How long have you known him? Do you trust him? How can you trust a total stranger? Why must you converse on if you trust someone? It is a relationship you build with time. Well, I don't really trust him, but I'm waiting to see. I don't really trust her because why are you having that conversation? Why are you affirming you don't trust someone you're building a relationship with? Why are you affirming you're not confident in them? Why are you affirming these things? Affirm what you want to affirm. That's why I like His Excellency Olukoya. I listen to him very carefully. He affirms cautiously and carefully. He knows how to speak. I've listened. What are you eating? I'm going to go through these quite quickly because I don't want to dictate to you, but I want to tell you some things. What are you eating? How does the food you eat react with your digestive system? Do you really care and show concern for your diet? Or do you just eat anything, anytime, how you feel like, when you feel like, without care or concern for its effect on your body? Are you high diet with starch? Are you a high protein, a high calorie, high sugar, high salt? What is your diet like? Your diet will dictate your mood and your emotion without you having any input on the situation. How many of you have ever had acid indigestion? I have. All of us. We're humans. Acid indigestion will make you feel like the worst person on the planet. If you go into a meeting with acid indigestion, I promise you, you will make some very, very emotionally lacking in intelligence decisions. Very, very emotionally lacking in intelligence decisions. Why? Because acid indigestion messes with your equilibrium, with your mental stability. But a lot of people don't think about those things. Do you go into meetings when you're hungry and your belly is growling, long and so tired, you're hungry, you're so angry? It's all right. I'm back. I'm back. It's okay. I'm getting accustomed to this. This is part of the process. You go into a meeting and you're hungry. And in the midst of your hunger, you're making bad decisions. You're making decisions based on your anger, frustration, because you're hungry. Some of you have long days without catering to your diet. And when you speak to individuals, you're sharp, unnecessarily and unreasonably sharp. You can't focus on the meeting. You don't have no control over what you say. You don't have no tolerance. And you frustrate the individual. The individual hears you're upset. The individuals hear your frustration and they interpret it as though you are angry with them. And they treat you accordingly. And you've just lost a relationship based on how you're treating your own diet. Your energy level. Your energy level is responsible for your frequency and your vibrations. I can go without eating for 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done a 40-day fast. As a matter of fact, 42-day fast. I have a very small stomach. Minister yours will tell you I take so long to eat. Minister yours is there. As a matter of fact, Minister yours, when we go out to dinner or to lunch, Minister yours gets embarrassed. Because because I take so long to eat. A little bit. But why is it? It's because I practice myself how to eat properly. I don't need food. I don't need to eat. I can drink a small bit of water and I can survive for 3 days or 4 days without any problems, without any change of my character or my attitude. Am I boasting and bragging about being a superhuman? That's not what I'm here to do. What I'm trying to share with you is your diet, what you eat, how you eat is going to determine how you perform, how you do things, how you respond, how you are able to deliver, how you're able to go long or short term. It is going to determine, are you able to go through a 24-hour period and have long meetings and not get angry, and have long meetings without sleep and not get frustrated? Are you getting what I'm saying to you? You need to be in an environment where you can control your energy levels. You need to be able to manage your capacity to process the food that you digest and let it work for you. Some people eat to live, others live to eat. Which one are you? Your hands, what are you doing? I'm going to close on that because that one is self-explanatory. What are you putting your hands to? It's all dependent on how you are as a person. I'm going to close this evening, but I'm going to ask you some questions to ask yourself. Be honest. Be honest. Don't try to be like me. Don't try to be like anybody. Be honest with yourself. I have become like my mentors as a result of a lot of years of intimacy. That's the truth. That is the truth. I thank God that I chose some very powerful, powerful leaders globally to be my mentors. They're all wrapped up in me. And I'm proud of all of my mentors. I'm proud of every one of them. Every single mentor that I've had, I am so proud of because they command and built empires. And some of them are still building empires right now. Very proud of them, all of them. But I want to ask you a question. What are you feeding yourself from your mentors? Were all of my mentors perfect? Nope. Nope. Not in one form or fashion. Absolutely not. Why am I sharing that with you? You learn how to take what is useful to you from your mentors. And you learn how to respect that everybody is going to have variations. There are parts of me that some of you might say, I like that about His Excellency Dr. SteelE. Take those parts, focus on them, take them, take them. Take them. Don't allow anybody to tell you, oh, you see that other part about him? I hate that other part. Please. There is not a person on the human's earth that doesn't have good and bad points. Not a person. Not a person. And if you don't learn to value the good in your mentors, when you see the bad, you will lose a very good mentor in the attribute that you wanted to add to your character. Have I made sense what I just said? Every person on the earth you will ever meet has something good to offer you. If you focus on the bad, you will miss what is good. Every person. The Muslim, the Christian, the Buddhist, the atheist, the Satanist, the ungodly, every single person on the face of God's created earth have the capacity to give you something good that you could add to your character, but you need to choose to look for it. Seek it out. And when you find that pearl of great price in that individual, go after it. Nurture it. Celebrate it. That when others tell you the negatives and the bad, you better ignore them. How many of you have ever went to a well to get water and there was no structure around the well? There was no nice structure and that kind of, that pump thing that you pump the water, you had to drop down an old musty looking bucket and then drop the water. Are you going to walk away from the well because what you see around the well doesn't look good, so you refuse to draw out water? If that is you, you will die of thirst in the desert. I'll say it again. Some of you who have not learned that it is the water that is going to cause you to live longer, if you focus on what is around the well and who goes to drink water from that well, and you refuse to dip your own water, my friend, please hear this young man, a bishop, a reverend, an ambassador, a brother, an uncle, a husband, a father. You will die in the desert of ignorance and stupidity if you do not draw your water and try to either strain it, funnel it, boil it, or process it so that at least you have a drink of water. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael SteelE. You've been a part of the class of SteelE, and I hope that this evening's class have added some value to you and have challenged your thinking, because all of us outside of a good mentor, we are so ignorant and stupid, and we act with such buffoonery. And the privilege that we have when somebody could say, Michael, you are speaking folly. Michael, you're acting asinine. Michael, this is retarded behavior. Michael, you're behaving backward. If we don't have someone that have the heart to tell us this, we will walk through life very unproductive, very unsuccessful, and keep asking the stupid question, why don't I seem to get things work in my favor? Zionists, I want to ask you to share your thoughts this evening. Zionist is out of London. Zionist, share your thoughts on this evening's class, if you don't mind, please.
Mind-blowing. Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving me this opportunity again. And greetings to all the excellencies in the house. And the apology for missing the first two classes. Tonight, class has struck a lot of chord with me, Your Excellency. I feel, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel emotional because I have fallen foul in some places with regards to some of the things you've said. And I have picked up so much lessons that I will immediately introduce into my life as a blueprint for effecting changes that, will make me globally relevant, but also relevant to my own person. And I hear all you said in respect to the mind as a production factory. And it is true that we don't always understand how our mind works. But if we fail to try to understand how it works, we become prone to sinking or processing into that which we believe, as though we do not have much control over our mind. I've heard people say, I don't know why I did it. It just happened. You ask a little child, why did you do that? Say, Mommy, I don't know. Husband or wife ask the other partner, why did you do it? I don't know. And you ask me certain things today, why did you continue loving even though you've been hurt time and time again? I'm like, well, I just thought it was good to continue to love rather than hate. But from the lessons I've learned tonight, I'm going to put a lot of things into perspective, and that will help me to move on from where I have been making mistakes in the past. And what I'm going to use, because to adopt these processes is not going to be an overnight hit, I'm going to use your word from the previous class, a quote from you from the previous class. I'm going to use it to move myself along in a steady pace. If I recall correctly, you said wisdom is not fast-paced, but one step at a time. And for that reason, from everything you've said, I'm going to operate in the wisdom of God to make an expedient change, because at my age, I don't think I should waste any more moment. To procrastinate, I need to do them swiftly. And if I had not heard this from you, I would have believed that some of the behaviors are okay. But I am ever so grateful to God that I had the opportunity to be in this very class and to learn all that I have learned today. Another thing I'm going to take away with me, Your Excellency, you made mention of routine. I never gave any thought to routine as being crucial. But the way you put it is very impactful, Your Excellency. And it's like a genie in a bottle. Something has been let out. And that, again, is going to help me to better myself, because this is what the class is all about. To better myself, to improve myself, and also to translate and transfer and translate what I have learned into my own environment. It starts within me, it starts from my family, and then I can take it out. As the lesson went on, Your Excellency, my mind went back to the story of the appointment of David, where God said to Samuel, men look on the outside, but God look on the inside. And I draw a parallel between that and when you spoke about the Hells Angels bikers. I put my hand up a million times. I've been there, judging by what I see on the outside. They are not my type. And, this misconception of preaching we've had in the church, don't be unequally yoked. You go out believing that the Bible say that, or if a brethren fails to, to conform, the Bible says cast them out, and nobody should have anything to do with them. So all this false teaching, I'm saying false teaching right now because I can see a light from what you're teaching, what you've taught tonight. I can draw a parallel with that from your teaching to what we learn of what I've understood, what I've heard people preach about being unequally yoked and I mean, keeping your distance from a brother. What has light got to do with darkness? And all that teaching meant that prejudice is fostered. And that becomes a part of somebody's life. And that is not necessary so. There should be no dividing wall. You said to be globally relevant, there should be no dividing wall. There should be no prejudice. And to give others the platform, Your Excellency, thank you. Given the opportunity, I will speak so much on most of the things that you have taught us tonight, but I believe that every one of us has got something out of your teaching tonight, which they would apply to themselves or apply to the society or apply to the workplace. For me, I will even go back to YouTube, revisit this again, because it has opened a whole new Pandora box for me. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and God bless you.
Thank you so much for your submission, Zionist, and I want to appreciate your honesty. One of the greatest teachers in life is your own personal honesty. If you're not honest with yourself and you're not able to speak the truth publicly, then you will always find problems with speaking the truth privately. And most people don't face their challenges head on. They face them, okay, that was good, but I'm not going to say that's what I need to deal with. And the truth of the matter is, when you closet your problems are very happy. Why? Because your problems know that they will have another opportunity to converse with you. You don't need to give up me. You don't need to stop dealing with me. Ignore him. He's stupid. He's a bishop, but he does not behave like he's a Christian. Please. He's not a Christian. You're a Christian. Please, I'm a bishop. And every single day I have a walk with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ every day. But I'm not a religious man. I'm not religious. I'm a humanist. And in my relationship with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, it's none of your business. It's none of the Muslims' business. It's none of the business of the humanitarian work that I have to perform as an individual in society. This is not about religion. This is about character and humanity. Please remember this. Becoming globally relevant has nothing to do with religion. Nothing to do with politics, absolutely nothing. If you want to bring your religion into global relevance, you will fail, and you will have arguments and debates that are useless and baseless. If you want to become globally relevant, I never said to drop your religion. What I say is to keep your religion to yourself and focus on your humanity. Your divinity is a personal, humane decision that any person else has the right to make. Don't forget that. But when you're speaking about humanity, every person was created as a human being. Let me leave that alone so I don't start to preach and I give others an opportunity. Your Excellency, Olukoya, I want you to share your thoughts on this evening. What have you received that is going to change your life personally?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I appreciate you for this class tonight. To appreciate all the excellency. I would like to like the way you took the whole thing from the very beginning to your closing. You started with the same point and you closed with the same point. When you first cited the biker, you were afraid of him. Now, fast forward later, is the same person that you were afraid of that was sent to you from day one. And that is the problem with many of us, because we look at the package rather than the content. And once we don't concentrate on the content, the entire presentation, the entire package will not make sense to us. I have had struggles even long before now. And that is why I made a decision. And that's why I appreciate what my big sister Zioness said. She's taking steps immediately, because so that the class of SteelE does not appear to be like a talk show, there must be decisions that must be taken immediately. I used to like, when I was not yet a Christian, I used to like movies that have very strong sexual content. Once they don't have strong sexual content, I don't watch them. But at a point, I now had to tell myself the truth that as long as I continue on this path, I am heading for destruction. So my Christian encounter helped me to make a decision that if I can change what I see, it will help my thinking, it will help even my own relationship with other people. That is, and truly it has done that. Before, if I see somebody of the opposite sex, the thoughts that come to my mind is not anything clean. So even when those people actually have come my way to be of help to me, I am seeing them in a different light. So when I want to relate with them, I'm relating with them with a wrong mindset. But you see, when I corrected what I watch, what I see, what happens? I started seeing people in a better light. So when I see, no matter how beautiful the lady is, I just meet the person, discuss with the person based on what God or Providence had brought us together to achieve together, rather than try to take something from the person. So when you look at what you have taught us tonight, what we see, what we hear, very important that our ears never sleep. We must never forget that. Our ears never sleep. I wrote that down very clearly. What we hear, what we affirm with our mouth, they are very important so that we don't miss out of the opportunity that have come our way. Appreciate you for this, because there are some relationships also be able to correct. Part of what we have been taught, just like she said, has created a lot of prejudices in us. One minister was speaking, and everybody expected him to speak against joining a club, joining a village meeting and all of that. And the man came and said, no, you are the salt of the earth. And salt does not have any good use if it does not get into the midst of the cooking. As long as you put it on the table or beside the cooking or the broth, you can never have a good taste. So you must get inside. So when God was saying, the Bible was saying, don't be unequally yoked, He's not saying don't be unequally yoked with the people of this world. That's where Christians make mistakes, and I appreciate your emphasis on it tonight. Because as long as we look at them as them, then how do we relate? Then we not say, no, I will only sell to a Christian, I will only do business with a Christian. At the end of the day, we are missing out in a lot of things. And honestly, I am very grateful to you, sir, for this that you have shared with us tonight, because it has further strengthened, my resolve, to love everybody, irrespective of who they are and what they are, to relate with everybody, irrespective of their decisions, their choices. That is who they are. And I don't have to impose who I am on them. But let me just be myself. I was surprised when some of my workers, I just got to church and most of them were in the church. And I was like, I didn't invite them. They said, no, we love you and we love coming to your church. I never spoke to them about coming to church and all of that. So there are ways that we can attract people to us, but we must never allow prejudice and become a defined way we relate to people. And of course, the issue of aroma that you shared with us, the aroma never offended us. I like that. Never offended us, but the person wearing the aroma is the issue. So we must not attribute aroma to everybody. That once somebody is using this particular or has this particular aroma, that person will behave the same way the other person will behave, and will lose and miss a very great opportunity. I want to appreciate you, Your Excellency. We eat to live, not live to eat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, sir.
Your Excellency Olukoya, thank you so very much for your submission. Thank you so very much. I'm not going to go into much discussion because you've made yourself very clear. Your Excellency, Dr. Donald Ewers, please share your thoughts and what impacted you and what are you taking away from this evening's class personally? Your Excellency, Dr. Donald Ewers.
A pleasant good evening, Your Excellency, and all the Excellency ambassadors in the house. You've touched a lot of nerves, we can say, tonight with your different topics. But two things I like to take out of it is one, when we met and you're talking about the thoughts and what you thought of me, and Pastor Jeffrey introduced us, and you had your own opinion, I had our own opinion, and one of the things you did say when we met, and I laughed when you said we would be friends for life. And you are right in a sense that the process, the way we think, the way we process things, even before we meet and even after we meet, we still constant process and rethinking about the person. And we come to our own conclusion. Sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive. And so therefore our thought process will be constantly paraphrasing in our head, on our minds, and about human being. And some of the things that you touched today, sir, I can really speak firsthand. Feeding the homeless, meeting the down, the outs, and having an open mind, not to be to a Pharisee mentality. And we have this Christian vanity. And I think that's one of the things that why me and you work so well, because I'm coming from the humanitarian side of life as a good Samaritan, and to look after our fellow human being. I was rebuked because I use a Muslim volunteer to work with me, proper Muslim. And the volunteer that worked with me when I was feeding the homeless was more effective than the so-called Christians. There was always on time. He was always ready to work. So sometimes we have our own perception of what we should be as, especially in the Christian dynamics. And another one that born here in the UK, but grew up in the West Indies in Jamaica and came back to the UK. One of the things that sometimes it clouds our judgment and our thinking. If you ever experience discrimination and racism, it will help you when you go into a room and you're the only black man. I had to work on myself with that one, not to say all Caucasian or racist. That was very hard. extremely hard when you experience discrimination and racism in a country in Europe. And so when you have to have a really a loving heart, a caring heart, a humanitarian heart, a compassion heart to overcome that. It's not an easy thing. And I'll say this to say that I was on a jury service in Belmarsh prison in the UK. And when I went in, I was the only black man on the jury team. When I went in, the look, there's a certain look when they look at you. I said to in my thought process, I said, oh God, all these ones are racist. Why did they put me in? They were the most kind and caring. At the end of the 4 week of we get to know each other. And so in the case was on. And I had to say to myself, Lord, forgive me to be judgmental. Lord, forgive me to be thinking that all Caucasian are racist. So there's a lot of things, our thought process, there's a lot of things that we have to work on ourselves. When we go to other people's countries, when we go to other people, their culture, not everybody's a Jamaican. You just mentioned about Jamaicans, you know, we are another class to ourselves. So when we go, it's a learning process. We have to learn things. We have to know how to step back and to listen. One of the things that you have taught us in the class of these is to develop our listening skills, to control our emotions. Sometimes so we get too emotional, carried away, and our emotions get the better of us. And so a lot of things that you were saying about tonight, about things, those are things that I've been practicing, about certain soap that you use, certain, you've been around me, you know, certain aftershave that I use, certain toothpaste I do all the time. So everywhere you go, you can know Donald's been in that room. And so my family, my daughters, etc., they all know when I'm around. So there's a lot of things that you're saying so that we really have to highlight and to evaluate with our mind and the way we operate our thoughts and our thinking process, the way we listen, the ears and so on, and what we feed our spirit to. I'm guilty to that. I like action-packed films, and I'm always watching a real action film. It's get me excited, and I'm sitting at the end of the set because the fighting but it's not good for my spirit. It's not good for what I'm feeding with, you know, killing and shooting, etc. So there's a lot of things, even when you're older, there's a lot of habits we pick up, you know, that's a topic to touch on, so bad habits. We all pick up bad habits. I'm a driver and I've been driving 35 years. And where they taught me how to drive, when we go on that road, that's not how I drive anymore. So a lot of us pick up bad habits. And you can rebuke me, sir. And if I have somewhere to go and I'm in the traffic, I am not staying at the back of the queue. I am going to do a shortcut to go to my destination. So there's a lot of things that we do, sir. And I put my hand up, guilty as charged, cutting the queue on the driving. It's offensive, some of the things, and people are blowing their horn, people are swearing, etc. But I have to go to my destination. Time is an essence. And you're talking us about time. And sometimes, sir, we have to cut shortcuts. It's not healthy. It's not good. But we have a destination to go. And what I've learned tonight, sir, you're helping me to refine myself, sir. And I'll give you thanks for all the information that you give us tonight. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, Minister, you try to almost, as it were, make me out as if I want to be perfect and make people perfect. Your Excellency, my wife would tell you that we watch Fast and Furious and some very exciting movies. I love exciting movies. My wife would also tell you that I watch these movies with her and I get so annoyed. I says, darling, why do you make me watch these things and I'm here crying? Come on! And I'm watching these movies and I'm crying and me and my wife, and she's laughing at me and we're there crying about the movies. What I'm trying to say is, what you allow to impact your decision making is what makes the difference. How you behave, how you allow it to influence you. Does it make you aggressive and angry because you walk fast and furious? Do you drive like fast and furious? It's all about how you approach it. Okay. I won't tell you, and I'm not going to tell you where or when and why, but I will tell you that I have driven at 235 kilometers per hour already. And when I did that, I will honestly tell you, it was one of the best feelings I have ever experienced in my life.
Adrenaline.
Oh my goodness, my hands sweat and all of that good stuff. But again, that was in my youthfulness. And that was in my not recognizing that it might have been fun, but there are professional ways that you could have done that. And you know, there are professional places that you could have positioned yourself to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was fun, it was lovely, and it was, you know, it was one of those buzzes, you still also have to remember responsibility. We are given stewardship of things that have greater capacity than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And our ability to manage responsibly how we use those things is also very important. I'm not perfect, and I'm not expecting that individuals are going to be perfect. And I'm the first person to hold my hand up like you, Your Excellency, that says, come on, I've made errors and mistakes. I'm not saying that it isn't going to happen, but let us live lives responsibly, that it does not become a habit. It might have happened, but it doesn't need to be a habit. You know, there's a saying, you can't stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can surely stop him from making a nest in your head. You can never stop a bird from flying over your head. They will always fly over your head, possibly. But you can guarantee yourself that you can stop him from making a nest in your head. I want to ask Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adil. Bishop Dr. Comfort, please share your thoughts on this evening's class. The time is 9:13 and we've gone on quite a while, but I think that this evening's class was quite interesting and intellectually stimulating. And I really want you to share your thought as well, so that you can derive personal benefit. Bishop Comfort, what's your take on this evening's class? What are you taking home from this class?
Hello, good evening, Your Excellency Bishop Dr. Mike SteelE, and all the excellencies on the platform. The Lord Richard bless you. It's always nice seeing you people on Zoom and then talking to you one after the other after you have shared your wonderful thoughts. It's very pleasant this evening for the topic you put on the platform. Little things that we overlook, but that makes us who we are. That's how I look at it. Before I'll continue, I'll just share a message from Excellency Ambassador Doreen. She's down with cold, and also her network was not working. There was a blackout and all those challenges, and so she couldn't come on. So she said I should send a message across. We pray that the Lord give her fitness, and then she'll be able to come up the next day. Well, I was just brooding over my thoughts of what you just said. And one thing we have to understand is that our little mind that we have on our head or in our head determines so many things that goes on in our life. Actually, if you don't know about that, you always start blaming other people. But the most important thing is that we are who we are. Other people cannot control us so much if you don't give in. If you don't open the door for them here, if you hear something negative and you continue to brood over the negative aspects and then lean on the negative, we can never make a positive out of negative. If we watch movies, for example, I was just laughing when His Excellency Chief of Protocol was talking about movies that are very interesting and sometimes you watch, and then Your Excellency also saying that you be weeping. I remember there was a time my little son at 6 years old, when I was watching the first, oh, why? And so, man, it's technological trick. It's a trick. When somebody stabs somebody and you see blood oozing from the body, just a small child that says, yes, was able to tell me, no, it's ketchup. It's not extra blood that I'm watching. What am I saying this? You see, sometimes we are our minds are being stolen, or our whole body and mind and everything just towards what we are seeing or hearing that are either negative or positive. Therefore, we have to rely on positive issues, positive things, what we read, the thoughts that comes into our mind, and what we listen to people, the thoughts that come into our mind should be positive to help us. I've said it often times that I learned that when I hear negative things from people, I find it difficult to relate with the people, because as soon as I see the person, the negative things start cropping up. This person is so and so, this person has done this, and this has done that. And at a point in time, I just prayed that the Lord wash my mind and wash my eyes and wash my everything from these things, so that I will be able to have positive thoughts when even people are talking negative about a person. And it does not help. It does not promote relationship. And I would also like to talk about the food we eat. It's true. The food we eat makes us who we are. There are certain types of food. You have to watch your body. If you eat, it can make you behave in certain ways that you should not. I will say this, and this goes to the men. Pardon me, but I'm an old lady, so I have to tell you these things. Am I giving the permission?
You are given
Because
the,
some food that
you are given the permission. Please go ahead.
the food that we eat, to be frank, sometimes then the drinks and everything, they are so exotic that they can make you misbehave. There was a time I took in some drink, and afterwards, my body was misbehaving. I did not understand. But this fruit drink is not an alcoholic. I'm not feeling fine in my body. So I discussed it with my sister. I said, I don't know whether it is the drink that I took, or it is that I'm not feeling well. So what happened was that I stopped drinking that fruit juice and left it there. And after a time, another time, I took that again, and I had the same experience, and I stopped for a while, for about some couple of weeks. And I took it again, and I had the same experience. And she said, well, when I take, I don't feel it at all. I said, our bodies are like plants. You see, what you can plant in Ghana, you cannot plant in UK. What you can plant in maybe some of the African countries cannot plant in another country, because our bodies were taken from the ground. That's what I learned, and I came to understand. Our bodies were taken from the ground. And then there are certain things that when I eat, it does not relate to the body that God has given me. There are some other people, they will eat the same food, but they'll just feel okay. But you can plant apple in UK, for example. Behind my sister's house, I think we planted some apple trees. When you come to Ghana, especially in the hottest part of the country, you cannot plant an apple for it to be successful here. You can plant cocoa in Ghana, but you cannot plant cocoa in Ireland or some part of UK. So everybody has a constitution in his body that he alone or she alone relates. The food that you take and it will be good for you may not be good for somebody else. So we have to be very careful about what we take. some food that you take, you don't know, that makes you barren. Some food that you take, you don't know, that makes you behave in an abnormal way. People may not understand, but I've gone through some checks and other things, and I've seen that those things sometimes do cause troubles in our bodies. Therefore, what you said this evening, I think is food for thought. We shouldn't just take anything for granted. Even the soap that we use, even the perfumes that we put on. My sister will tell you that if you put this perfume on your body, it will smell bad. If you put that perfume on somebody's body, it also smells good. So the person may put some perfume on his or her body, but when he goes out or she goes out, she smells bad in the midst of other people, and you think that that person is smelling bad. It may not be that a person has not taken a bath or a person has not dressed properly, but it's because of the misappropriation of the things that the person used. So I would like to cut it short by saying that we must be mindful of everything that God has given us. We shouldn't say that we have it, so we are going to use it all like that. We must check and then do things accordingly. And then also relate to people in a nice manner. Don't look at how his appearance or her appearance is, but look at what the content you can get from that person. On this note, I'll say greetings from Ghana. We love you all, and we love you. We appreciate you, Excellency Jimmy. I love you so much. I appreciate you, my son. God bless you, bless you.
Thank you so very much, my mom from Ghana and our auntie. And we appreciate you as well. And one of the beautiful things is that we are family. And even though we're a small family sitting in our front houses conversing, this is lovely. And I'll share some more as time go by. Well, look, where is Bella? Bella, please share your thoughts on this evening's class. I know that Bella is there listening carefully as well. Bella, share your thoughts on this evening's class, if you don't mind, my sister.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for the class tonight. What I can say tonight is that just a little testimony about the mind. I want to talk about what you see. Sometimes back, I was going to some challenges. Then when I talked to Jenny SteelE, she told me, you have to change how you feel. Don't be sad. Like you watch some funny videos. I was like, now watching funny videos, how is it going to connect, But I didn't watch them, but she went on and sent them to me. She sent a YouTube something, said, you watch those ones, they're very, very funny, you're going to laugh. So I was like, okay, let me try it out. So I started watching them. So when I started watching them, immediately, it's like I changed the frequency, I changed everything where the area where I was. I started focusing on that video. I started laughing. I was like, hey, this thing works. So, so when you talk about mind, actually, it's something that controls our lives. It controls everything that we do. Everything, like you have said it all, by the way. I don't know where to start because you have said it all. And the thing about watching movies, series, I was addicted to series. But when you watch series, there's the way they left you in the moment when you have to think about what is next. Oh my God, what happened next? And you want to know exactly what happened next. That's why you find out when some people who are addicted to series, they can even be awake the whole night because the first episode, we left you wondering what happened next. So you want to watch the next episode. When you watch it and still they do the same thing and you want to know what happened next. So they keep controlling you in that way. So I reached a point that I think about what happened, what is going to happen next. So I sat down and realized that these people, they are controlling me. They are controlling what I have to think about. They are not allowing me to think because they are giving me what to think about. So I was like, oh God, what is going on? Because this, when you keep on watching, you start being the part of it. You became part of it. You want to know what happened next. So you start using your brain to think about what is going to happen next. And again, they get some point when they're going to hurt your feelings. You feel hurt, but another, it's none of your business, you know. It's nothing. You cannot do anything about it. You're not going to tell them what to do, but they're hurting your feelings. Sometimes you can even cry about it. And for sure, you're not supposed to do that because there's nothing you can do about it because they have already, it's a done thing. It's a done thing. It's a done deal. It's done. Like they know what is going to happen next. And even if you think about it, so there's a way they put something that make sure you're going to hurt your feelings, make sure you're going to complain. They can make someone do something that is going to make you complain. I was like, so these people, first of all, they are controlling my mind. I have to think about what they want me to think about. Secondly, they're hurting my feelings. I am emotionally hurt because of someone you like in that city is going to die or they're hurting him or her. And you're like, oh my God, they're hurting your feelings. So, and then you become addicted. So you like they put you in a circle where you're not going to move, you're not going to think ahead, but you're going to start controlling your mind there. So, but I thank God I stopped, but it wasn't easy to stop. It was really hard because I was like, what am I going to be doing? But I started this trying to see something else. There's so many educative things on YouTube that you can watch. I started watching how it is made, some nice things on YouTube that you can watch, and it is really going to change your life and open your mind. And I thank God about, again, about what you hear. I thank you, Dr. Michael SteelE especially, and the class of SteelE, because there is a way you change our lives by listening to you. When you're in a challenge, you know, we have a lot of challenges in all areas of our lives. But when I'm in a class of SteelE, most of the time you listen to something, and what you're listening to, it is going to open your eyes, because there's something I cannot think about, and there's something you cannot think about. But when we chat or we have a conversation, that's where you get to know ideas from me, and I get ideas from you. So I thank you for this class because it has helped us to open our minds more, to think like you think, use your brain to think. So what we hear is that was changed our life most, because when you listen to something that is educative and you keep listening to it and you put it in action, actually it changes your life when you want to change, when you want your life to change. Because if your mind is stuck somewhere and you don't want to change, even if you listen to 1,000 things, you will never change.
Yes.
Until you say, I want to change. When you want to change, life will give you 1,000 reasons and 1,000 ideas of changing. So me personally, I thank you, Doctor. I thank you so, so much. And I thank everyone in the class of SteelE for staying together, because it's not easy to keep doing the same thing. It's not easy for sure. It's love. It's love that you give. Like we want to be here to listen to you, and it's so Me personally, I'm blessed, and I love this class. It's my home, it's my family. Like missing class is like, I don't know, it's something so challenging to me. I don't like missing classes. So thank you for this topic of mind. And I'm sure it is not end right? We have part 3. So thank you so much for this. Thank you for, because there is another video I've been watching. The person said, you are the creator, but how do you create? Like, use your mind to create. So when your mind is full of those TV series and those negative energies, mania, what you a lot of things depends on what you feel in your mind. So that's what controls your success. That's what controls your failure. That's what controls your feelings. That also controls what you feel, and everything about our lives is controlled by our mind. And the good thing about our mind is we can change it. You can change what you're thinking. You can change. You can. It's like using a radio or a TV. You change to another channel. So you can be on a negative channel and you change. You go to another frequency and you think about something else. You've been watching something and you don't like what you're watching, and you just switch and you watch something else. That's how good it is about our mindset. So thank you so much. Thank you. And I think we had something about a mindset, right? Before. And this is it. Thank you so much, His Excellency, and may God bless you. And I love it, and I have it, and I have to watch again the previous video of mind. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. May God bless you all. Zionists, I salute you. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Bella. And I want to jump straight in to Adiola. Adiola, Latoya, please share your thoughts this evening with us pertaining to this evening's class.
Good evening, Your Excellency, and good evening to all the Excellency in the house. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Well, I know everybody has said a lot today, and just in addition to what has been said, I just want to say something in the aspect of what one is thinking. What are you thinking? Just like you said, when you were saying something about what you read, what you watch, the kind of movie you watch, I just remembered when I was in secondary school, then I was not born again. I love reading Miss and Boone. I love reading Adley Chase. And, I had a lot of them. And one thing God helped me to do, when I give my life to Christ, is that I don't need this again. Because it was not going to help me to fulfill purpose in life. It was not going to help me to walk in the right path. And what God helped me to do at that moment was that I got all those books and I burnt them. And God, began to help me to know what to read, what to watch, and all those stuff. My husband knows me very well. I love, anything that has to do, with romance, anything that has to do with love. I like it. Movie, but I began to understand that, there is a way things need to be done. Things need to be done in the way of God and all that stuff. So that's what what made me to discover this what is called. There is this writer. I love a book, Karen Kingsbury. So I love a book very much. If you come to my house, you will see a lot of her books. Wow, because I have to understand what it means to love in the right way, what it means to do things in the right way. And I also noticed that I also learned that, what I think, and that is why this part of the scripture, I always tell my children every time, where the Bible says that on things that are pure, things that are holy, things that are just, things that are good, meditate on it. Because if we don't meditate on it, we begin to meditate on the bad aspects, begin to meditate on the things happening around you. There's tendency that you begin to walk, in that line. And then, the second part, what you listen to, it really touches me because, that is the one thing I've learned about my husband, is that, you can't come near him and say something negative. Immediately he's going to reverse it. So myself, the children, we've learned that. So you can't tell him negative things. So if you're going to tell him that you need something, don't tell him that that thing has finished. You just have to tell him we need to get this or we need to do that, because he believes, and I've seen it working, in our lives as couple. And what you said today, really helped me to understand that this thing is real. And if we don't emphasize on it, and if we don't work in it consciously, there's a way it's going to affect our reasoning, it's going to affect our output, it's going to affect our responsibility, it's going to affect the role that God wants us to play even in our society. Because you cannot have a distorted mind and expect your life to affect your generation positively. So definitely we ourselves, we need to work on ourselves to make things work. I don't want to talk much this evening, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone in the house. God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Adiola. I just really wanted, there were a few of us in class this evening, but there's an international audience that listens and follows us in the class of SteelE. And I just wanted to do justice to giving our audience a different opinion and a different perspective on the subject at hand. There's no foolproof way of doing anything in life. There is no mentor that knows it all. There's no way to do it that is the perfect way. We as individuals have to do the best we can with the information and the abilities that we have. Pertaining to our religion, one of the things that I want us to get away from religion, get away from it. Start to identify the difference between religion and relationship, and you will appreciate your relationship more. Get away from religion. Religion destroys and hurts individuals. Relationship builds nations. And if we as a people look at building relationships empower us to build character and characters and cause people to want to be like us. Why would somebody want to be like somebody that's a divider and a hater and a problem seer? We want individuals who are solutionists, individuals who can look and see how can the world be a better place because I've passed through it or I am in it. I want to say thank you to my beautiful wife, Her Excellency Jeannie SteelE. I'm going to say, darling, are you able to say anything quickly, or do I go and leave you in peace?
Good evening, everyone. God's blessings on you all. Go and leave me in peace. That was funny. Well, all I can say is it was good being in the class this evening. It was wonderful hearing the feedback. The class, well, we do the classes before we do the actual class. So it's like you're talking to me 2 and 3 times. We're having the same discussion over and over, but it's wonderful. It reinforces what is necessary, and it actually also gives you further revelation. When you hear a message a second time, a third time, a fourth time, you get different revelations based on the level you are now at. You kind of level up. So it's always wonderful, even though I'm a part of the preparation process, to also participate in the class with everyone else. And it's also very wonderful to get the feedback and hear everyone else's perspective, which I myself can also build upon. So I want to thank everyone who participated. I want to thank them for their own, their own knowledge that they have shared so willingly and so beautifully that, that we can all understand. It was quite clear. And yeah, I just want to bless you all. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being a part of the class of SteelE. It's wonderful to have you as part of our purpose. We love you all. God blessings to you, your family, and God blessings to my wonderful husband.
Darlene, I don't mute yourself yet, my beautiful wife. I owe you a very public apology because our anniversary was on the 7th of September, our 7th anniversary on the 7th of September, and I missed our anniversary because I had so many meetings. And at 2 minutes past midnight, my beautiful wife said to me, darling, today was yesterday was our anniversary. And I said, how dare you? How could you not remind me and give me a gift for my anniversary? I don't believe you did this to me. But I equally want to say that I'm sorry for missing our anniversary. And I hope that what I did have made up for our anniversary. And I promise that next year, I will make sure I don't forget. Please, my darling, don't hold me to it. I'm not perfect. And I hope that you forgive me and still love me dearly, even though I forgot my 7th anniversary on the 7th of September. Please forgive me.
You're totally forgiven. It's okay. I know you are working hard and you can't remember everything all the time, especially when you need to focus on the projects that you are doing. And I could have reminded you. I myself should apologize for not reminding you, but I want to see if you would remember or help me remind you. But anyway, water under the bridge. It's all good.
Darling, did you just publicly apologize for allowing me to miss it, my darling? When you remembered, did you just publicly apologize, baby?
I just did. Would you like me to repeat myself?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I just want to be sure I heard you because I am not sure. That's what you said.
I apologize, my dear, wonderful husband, my Lord Bishop Dr. Michael SteelE, for not reminding you that our anniversary was yesterday. However, it feels like we have been together for a lifetime. So, it isn't that big a deal.
Class of SteelE, I want to appreciate the First Lady. She is one of the most amazing companions God could grace a man on the earth with. She's fantastic. We have a fantastic friendship, relationship. She's the reason why the class of SteelE is going to continue to be successful. And I just want to love all of you. Thank you for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday in the class of SteelE again. Good night, everybody, and God bless you. We love you guys.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Happy anniversary. Your Excellency, happy anniversary.
Good night. Happy
Good night, everybody.
anniversary.
Good night, guys. God bless.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Adiola.
Yeah. Oh, happy wedding anniversary.
Thank you so very much. And keep reading those love stories so that you remain fully in love. And you don't become too religious. You know what it is to be in love.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay.
God bless you.
Sir.
Good night.
Yes, sir. Okay.
You've just been watching the class of SteelE live here in London. and throughout Africa. And we thank you for being a part of our Class of Steel family. You could join us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here live on Zoom. And you can visit our website, theclassofsteel.com, where you will have access to that link that you can join this class on Zoom. Equally, you could also visit us on YouTube, all of our classes, YouTube, and you can visit them. I also want to invite you to join us on Saturdays with our youth, the Class of Steel Youth. We meet every Saturday at 5 to 7 p.m. London time. Join in the discussion and be with us live as well. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele and my beautiful wife, Her Excellency Jeannie Steele. We appreciate you and thank you. Good night and God bless you. And please like and subscribe on YouTube so that we can build our YouTube channel, and also our Facebook following will continue to grow as we go forward. Again, I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele and my wife Jeannie Steele. Good night and God bless you on behalf of the